Hello everyone, this is Amanda. It's the 12:12, I want to say portal. Must admit, it is 4:30 on 12:12. I've had a very busy day. I've got about an hour before I've got to go out, and I just sat down here and I've had a real pull to do a video on twin flames all day. So this is completely unrehearsed, and to be perfectly honest with you, I'm coming back online to talk about twin flames, having been absent for a few months, not really actually understanding at the outset of this video what the hell is going on. I'm hoping that this video is going to give us some clarity. One thought that came to me today is those of you that are in separation, which is probably the majority of a lot of twin flames still, there's almost this feeling of never having felt more separated, yet actually within self, never having felt stronger. And maybe that's the way it's meant to be. By that, what I'm referring to is that for union to happen, which seems to be the end goal of a lot of people, although personally, I know that not everybody will reunite. Some aren't meant to. Some are meant to be holding the energetic imprint only. I don't really want to get into all of that. There are many other readers that talk about that. I would just like to have a look at what the energy is doing on 12:12. And I'm just saying at the outset, in terms of potential union, which a lot of people felt was going to happen in 2018 and 11 year, I'm actually feeling a number of degrees of separation, more than has been the case in the past, but yet much stronger, much more empowered, in a weird way, much less bothered. So if you're resonating with me so far, you're probably going to resonate with the rest of it. If you're not resonating at the outset and just want to hear that you're definitely getting back together with your twin flame, this maybe isn't the video for you. But we'll see, shall we? Shall we just see what comes up? Okay, I'm going to use two decks. Both of them are designed by Angela from Mystic Moon. I don't know your surname, Angela. So anyway, I will put the links to both of the decks that I'm going to be using in the link below. I have got her Twin Flame Tarot deck, and I've also got the Mystic Moon Oracles. They don't come in a box, and they don't come with a book, which I personally like, because you know the way that I like to read cards, I just like to read them intuitively. So I'm just going to firstly pull two cards without even asking for a message. No, that's too many. Just two cards just to get us started. And I'm going to pull in for this session the energy of Mary Magdalene and the energy of Christ. So let's, before we do anything, just spray those two sprays. Mary Magdalene and the energy of Christ. The day that I last ran my Mary Magdalene workshop in New York, which was in November the 5th, was the last time I had a very strong signal in relation to twin flame. I'm being cryptic deliberately because I've got a private life and I'd like to keep it private. Okay, so, but I'm just noting that the Mary Magdalene energy is very linked into the twin flame journey. So let's have two cards. Let's just stop there. And we have two cards that are almost poles apart, I would almost say. Metamorphosis, which talks about change and reinvention, moving on to the next cycle. And the card of nostalgia, which by nature feels as though it belongs in the past. In many ways, I'm not surprised to see those, because there is this push-pull energy. And that's been the case for a long time. I was going to say many years, because it is years in many people's cases. Push-pull. Are we going to transform and change and move forward and become the butterfly? Or are we going to just let this connection, relationship, stay firmly in the past? Let's have a look. And I think the easiest way to do this is I'm going to pull 4 cards, firstly for the position of the Divine Masculine. Remembering that the Divine Masculine's energy doesn't have to always just be the man. It's whoever's holding the more masculine energy between the two of you. And then I'll pull 4 for the Divine Feminine. So let's just have a look. 4 cards then, please, for the Divine Masculine energy on 12-12. 12-12 energy, Divine Masculine. Please help us to see the truth. Okay, we have the card of release, the card of big dreams, the card of surrender, and I was laughing because we've also got the twin flame card. Almost as though the Divine Masculine energy is needing to remind us that yes, I am actually part of this union. I am actually part of this connection, maybe I would say, rather than union. I'm part of this connection. I'm part of this relationship. Even though you may not feel me and I may be completely and utterly absent. Bottom of the deck, divine timing. How many times do we see that? Let's put divine timing in the middle. So let's just have a look at this. Big dreams, release, surrender, and twin flame. Surrender and release link into an energy. Oh, okay, thank you. This is connected into having finally surrendered, the Divine Masculine having finally surrendered and let go of and removed the fight from this not being a twin flame connection. Even if they don't understand what twin flame is, even if they have very little understanding of it, there feels as though there has been a surrender to the process, the journey. Almost as though I can't understand this. I don't understand the rules of the game. And I don't even know what I'm supposed to do, say, or be. And I have no idea what is to become of this. But yet I can't get you out of my mind. And so I have surrendered to this, and I have released it to the universe that will bring to me whatever is meant to be in divine timing. Does that sound very much like the narrative and the script of the Divine Feminine? Yes, it does. How interesting is that? This is almost the script that I would expect to be there for the Divine Feminine, and indeed has been there for probably the whole of 2018, maybe even before that. The thing about I don't understand this, I don't know where it's going, I don't know when it's going to happen, if it's going to happen. Almost reached a dead end with it. But yet I know there is something there. I'm going to give it up to the divine, because at human level, I just don't know anymore. The card of big dreams. Is this a dream or is it an illusion? I don't know, is what I want to say. I don't know. This is what I'm feeling is the energy with the divine masculine. But I'm going to release it. I'm going to surrender it. There's this weird thing that's called twin flame. Even if I don't call it twin flame, that's basically what I'm feeling. Let's just give it up to the universe. And if it's meant to be, it'll be. And if it's not, it won't be. Let's see what the divine feminine is feeling. 4 cards on 12-12. Ooh, okay. Got two more cards. Yeah. She's going in a new direction. She's got fear based around that new direction. She's finding her tribe. And she is making acquaintance with the material world. She's rolling up her sleeves, getting on with work, getting on with life, less in her head in terms of the ifs and the whys and the wherefores, probably having driven herself insane with all that. And she is here. The last reading I did for you, we had the divine feminine at this crossroads. Do you remember? She was at a crossroads, and what basically I said to you is, how long are you going to stay there? How boring is it just to stay and wait? How long are you going to wait? And it feels as though since October, I think it was October I did it, September, October, since then, she's decided to move on from that crossroads and she's moving into a new direction. She is fearful because of that, but she's still moving forward. And she is strengthening her bonds with the tribe that are around her, that help sustain her, nourish her, love her, even if it isn't the twin flame connection. Having spent so long in the world of trying to manifest it, speaking higher self to higher self, and not having got very far, she's decided to move back into the material world, which isn't a bad place to be. It's where we all actually live. It's where I'm sitting right now on this chair in this room talking to you. And she is settling into a life beyond waiting at the crossroads. And it's funny because just the way, I can't show you the cards, I'm looking at them because my camera's just not sophisticated enough, but the cards for the divine feminine, which I've just explained, I realised that I've put them underneath the card of metamorphosis, which was one of the 2 cards that came out at the start. And the card of nostalgia is more to the side of the divine masculine. So it feels as though even though the divine masculine has let it go to a degree, he's still more in the past, living in the past, than the divine feminine. Let's use the next deck of cards now and see what we get. And I'm going to choose another 4, or shuffle 4. And this is from the Twin Flame Tarot. And let's just pull 4 cards now to go on top of what we've already got. So let's start with the divine masculine. We've got release, surrender, big dreams, and the twin flame card. Let's have some clarification on this. Divine masculine, what other messages have we got for the 12-12 portal? 4 cards. Remember what I've already said. What's come through is that they've surrendered this whole situation to the universe. The point is that when you do that, or the energy that I'm feeling with that, is having surrendered it, it feels quite a passive place to be. They aren't necessarily moving on in the same way that the feminine is. What they've done is they've surrendered it, and rather than moving into a new direction, they are just in the same old energy. We've got them trapped in their thoughts. We've got the card of tradition, shows marriage. So this is karmic relationships that they may still well be in, which maybe they are feeling trapped in. We have the card of trickery, and we have the card of disappointment. Okay? So we have trap, the card showing marriage, trickery, and disappointment. So it's a very double-edged sword with them. You could look at it on face value and say, on one hand, yeah, they've moved ahead a little bit because they've surrendered this to the universe. At least they've acknowledged that there's something there to surrender, something that they can't understand, something that they can't quantify. But yet, that I'm feeling I want to say is all they've done. Don't forget, this isn't going to apply to everybody that's watching this. This is just a reading that's coming through for some people. If you're resonating, great. If you're not, leave it. But the divine masculines that I'm picking up here, the energy that I've got right now, they've surrendered it, they've let go, they know that there is something that they can't understand that is bigger than them, that is actually the twin flame connection, even if they don't understand that word or those words. And yet, I want to say, they're still stuck in this energy that is keeping them trapped, disappointed. And the card of trickery to me, if we look at it, it shows this lotus flower. And it's really describing very well what I'm trying to articulate. On one level, they are opening up. They've surrendered, they're opening up. They've almost called on the universe's help. But yet there's a snake here that is actually in the way, that is actually preventing the growth of this full opening, because they're still staying in the same position that they've been in. Let's pull now 4 more cards for the divine feminine and see where we go. So 4 cards for the divine feminine. Remember I said she was moving into a new direction, more linked into the there's 4 that's actually just flown out of the deck as a 4, so I'm going to take those. She's moving in a new direction, she's immersed in the material world, she's finding her tribe, she's a little bit fearful. Right, the 4 that have just flown out. The card of moving on and the card of new direction. A double whammy, just confirming what I've just said. She is moving on, mentally and physically. The love is still there for her twin flame and for her connection, but she is not prepared to wait at the crossroads any longer. She is moving on. And she's doing that for a number of different reasons. One of which is we've got the card of judgment. She had to make a decision. And it's actually caused some heartbreak. And the next card I want to talk about separately. Okay, so we've got the card of heartbreak and the card of judgment. It's come at a high price, this new freedom. The truth is that the new direction and the expansiveness into new life is coming at a cost of what she thought was going to happen. I can't stress enough how this moving on is real. I think for some of us, maybe we've played with that idea before, we've toyed with it a little bit, and we've made half-hearted attempts to move away. This time it feels as though it's very determined. I'm hearing in my head, enough is enough. I waited long enough. And I really hoped that you were going to come back, but you haven't. And so therefore I had to make a judgment. And it's actually brought me a lot of heartbreak. But I'm also hearing, but I'm not going to be defined by that heartbreak. I am going to move on. And on the bottom of the deck, we've got the card of clarity, the Ace of Thoughts. It's almost as though I can see clearly now, the rain has gone. The obstacles in my way that had me blind. What's the words? The words are important. It's going to be a bright, bright, bright sunny day. Do you know the song? I can see clearly now. Who did that? I can see clearly now. Lyrics. What are the lyrics? Johnny Nash. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. I can see all obstacles in my way. Gone are the dark clouds that had me blind. It's going to be a bright, 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 shiny day. I think I can make it now. The pain is gone. All of the bad feelings have disappeared. Here is the rainbow I've been praying for. It's going to be a bright, 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 sunshiny day. The thing is, though, even though that is a lovely upbeat song, I think there's a feeling here with the Divine Feminine. The heartbreak is coming from the fact that, but I know I need to somehow find that joy now for myself. I can't wait any longer and expect this other half to come back to bring me that joy. They may still well do, by the way. This is just a snapshot in time on 12/12, but this is the energy that we're playing with today. This is what it's feeling like. But clarity, I've got clarity. What was I doing? Let's get back into life. Let's get back into the material world. Let's find my tribe. Now, the card that I don't understand that also came out is the card of burdens. And I'm going to clarify that. It's a card of burdens, okay? So I'm actually going to ask about that because I don't understand it. And it came out for the Divine Feminine. So let's please have a clarifying card. What goes with the card of burdens for the Divine Feminine? Having to do it on her own, maybe. There's a burden in that, isn't there? There's a responsibility to self. What goes with burdens? One card. Okay, thank you. Oh, two cards. What comes with burdens? Just put the cards up so you can see them. Remember, I read the cards intuitively. We've got Ace of Flames, Ignition, and we've got Eight of Flames, Swift. I feel that the burden is almost this, so I have to make it right straight away. I have to be very fast and speedy in this new direction. I have to make it work, almost to prove to myself something. And I don't think that is necessarily a very healthy path to take. Less speed. What is it? Less speed. Yeah, you know, less speed, less haste. That's it. I also feel for some people as though a potential for a new romance is potentially there as well. If, and it's a big if this twin flame divine masculine energy can't get their act together and come forward, then life is short, and if you are on your own, Spirit aren't going to keep you on your own. They actually know it's a burden to be in that place of carrying everything yourself. By the way, that doesn't mean that if you're single you can't be happy at all. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that for some of the people watching this video who want a connection with another, if this twin flame is never going to show up in the material world, then that sense of disappointment of carrying on alone can be lifted by the swift arrival of new love. But I do feel it's new love. Okay, let's pull now a couple of cards for the state. Let's go back a step. The state of the connection between the two of you. Okay, so we've got a sense for where the divine feminine is. We've got a sense of where the divine masculine is. Let's now get a sense for the combined connection of the relationship. You see, because I'm sorry, some people aren't going to like the messages in this video, but I'm still going to put it up. I've got the divine masculine and I've got the message, the answer is no. I just don't think they're ready. I think a lot of them aren't ready. And so rather than cry over spilt milk, and rather than taking all of that angst and anxiety and disappointment into another year of waiting, the divine feminine is being encouraged to spread her wings. Now at this point, I'm going to ask something here. Who was it? It was another twin flame reader that I watch. And I can't remember which one of you it was, so apologies. I like to try and credit people. It could have been, is your name Sumaya? I think it was Sumaya. And anyway, I was watching one of her videos and she talked about the fact that at the end of the day, I believe, I'm sure she probably believes, without putting words in her mouth, that one of the reasons why twin flames come and try and incarnate at this time is to try to bring a higher template of love in, okay? And this year has not seen as many reunions as many were expecting. And it's like, okay, what's going on here? Why is even the way I've put these cards, guys, you can't see it, but on my desk, I've got the divine masculine cards over here. I've got the divine feminine, they're right over here. I've got this chasm in the middle. I've got this big chasm in the middle. It is more separated than it ever has been. What the hell is going on? Wasn't this the year when it was supposed to come closer together? And yeah, what Sumay was talking about was the fact that it has been an external force that has come in to try to prevent these unions. I know we had the card of divine timing, which implies that maybe that isn't the case, but I just wanted to explore that a little bit because it resonated with me. If you think about the ascension journey, take it away from twin flame at the moment, we know that ideally we're on an upward traction graph. Ascension should be going upward. We should all be evolving. But yet it's not happening quite like the graph, the ideal graph. It's like we go up, then we flatline, then sometimes we go down, and then we go up again. It's really topsy-turvy. And the reasons for the downward blips or stagnation is also to do with lower energy that comes in to try to prevent the higher vibrations from coming into the planet. And I really wonder about that. So should we pull a couple of cards on that, just on that very question? Has there been external interference with the coming together of the divine masculine and the divine feminine? Has there been some sort of interference? Let's just see what they say, what the cards say. Because I'm getting a sense something's come in. Has there been external interference preventing closer intimacy or connection on the twin flame journey? Right, same cards come out twice. The Queen of Earth, nurturing. The Queen of Earth has come out twice. What does that mean? Let me just tune in. Oh, okay, thank you. I was thinking, what the hell does that mean? Okay, thank you. It goes with the card of divine timing. It's less about external dark forces. It's more about the earth. The earth. Look at that, Mother Earth. Mother Earth is not quite yet ready for the clock to strike 12 and for these unions to come back in. Remember that we live upon Gaia, who is a living, breathing organism in her own right. She has a consciousness of her own. And she is going at the pace that is dictated to by her own rhythm. And I'm just, okay, I mean, even the way I've put these cards, look at this. Queen of Earth, so if we think of this as Gaia, okay, and she's got her own divine timing for these connections to deepen, strengthen, come back together, what I've done is I've put this card, the divine masculine, and the answer is no, I'd put them above the card of Gaia. She's not ready. But also, it's less that she's not ready, it's more that look at the planet, look at the planet. Look at the hold that the old patriarchal energies have still got. I'm hearing they've got a stranglehold still upon our earth. And I'm also hearing that there is going to be a real release of that and a real shaking away of that stranglehold of the old patriarchal energy. But it hasn't quite yet happened. And because it hasn't quite yet happened, it is preventing the divine masculine from really being able to feel safe to extend the hand of love, intimacy, and reunion to their other half. And so, in a way, actually, as I re-look at these cards, it's quite clever what Spirit have done. I'm taking away the emotion of it, because I know there's a lot of emotion around this subject. I understand the pining for somebody. I understand it. But the truth is that if the earth isn't yet ready for this divine masculine to be fully awake and embodied in a much bigger way than they already are, because they're already here, but not in the way that I'm sensing is going to be exploding soon. Well, what's the divine feminine supposed to do? Just hang around at the crossroads waiting? No, of course she's going to be doing exactly what these cards say. She's going to be moving on, getting back into the material world, getting on with some work, rolling up her sleeves, transforming. Okay, cards for the connection going into 2019. 2 cards for the connection, the twin flame connection going into 2019. Did I just say 2018? Going into 2019. They're interesting. The card of full circle. As we go into 2019, we're at card number 21, full circle. It's exactly what it says it is. We've completed the path. By doing so, both divine masculine and divine feminine have become more independent. You can't have really happy union unless both are independent. It doesn't have to be about money, it's about abundance in terms of feeling happy and full of self-love, abundant in that way. But there is nothing about the twin flame connection, which is about codependency and clinging on to each other for dear life. For real lasting union between the divine masculine and divine feminine, there has to be this growing independence. And that's what feels as though either has happened or is happening as we enter into next year. We've gone full cycle. So another 2 cards. (2019), going into 2019's energy, twin flame. It's like 12/12 is like the start of a new path. So where does it take us? Let's go into 2019. Note I'm not saying the whole of 2019, I'm just saying into 2019, into the new year's energy. Where does it take the twin flame connection? Ooh. Whew. Okay. Tower. And let's have one more. Not from that deck, I'm being told. Okay, from this deck then. So I've got the Tower. What goes with the Tower? I personally like the energy of the Tower. Grief. I don't like the energy of grief. Come on, let's give us another one. Where does it take the connection going into next year? Tower, grief, and compromise. Bottom of the pack after those 3 is union. No one ever said this was going to be easy. If you're watching this thinking it's a walk in the park, you probably don't understand the twin flame journey, quite frankly. Okay, let's summarise. Current energy. Reunion is not happening for many different reasons, one of which is the earth is not ready yet to hold all of these beautiful awakened divine masculines that are going to be popping up all over the place. Okay, so by the time we get into 2019, I'm really going into the early part of 2019, January, February, March. Seems as though something has come full circle, growing independence, but there is a Tower moment that brings some grief and some compromise before the union, the reunion. Right, what else can I say about that? Do you know, I said to somebody else today, because today's the 12th, isn't it? But I was talking to a friend and I was saying, do you know, it's weird. It's feels like we're still in the 11th energy. A bit like, you know, when there's a full moon or a new moon, and in astrology, it's well known that the effects of the full moon or the effects of a new moon, they're not just on the night that it happens. They can carry on for a number of days either side. And I'm feeling this grief and this tower and this compromise is for those people where there still hasn't been a moment which has sort of shaken their world a little bit and allowed in the new. And remember, this is for the connection. It's not just for the divine feminine or just for the divine masculine, it's for both. For those people that are still in karmic relationships and for reunion to happen with somebody else, there will be a process of grief that comes with union with your other. And there will also have to be compromise. So there's lots of sort of different messages here for different people that might be watching. But I'm feeling that this tower energy, and remember the tower is only about getting rid of something that already is redundant, has no viable use anymore. You know, it's like a lighthouse where the light doesn't work and the walls are starting to crumble anyway. It falls down so something much better can come into its place. But before that can happen, there is a process of grief and compromise. Now, some of you will have already been through this in 2018, but some people I know haven't. And for those that haven't, the analogy of the full moon and the effects lasting a few days, what I'm trying to say here is that the 11 year, which was always going to bring about tower moments, if it hasn't already happened, it feels as though the effects of the 11 year, 2018, go into the early months of 2019. But it literally is, it's like a clearing of the decks. It's like a clearing of the decks to make eventual way for this union. But I don't want to just feel as though I'm carrying on sort of moving the goalpost every couple of months, because this is a snapshot that we're looking at here. It's something that is available for some people that are watching this video. It's not for everybody, okay? The guidance really here today on 1212 is confirmation for the divine masculine that, yeah, they've surrendered, they've released, they've let it go to God in a way. They don't understand why they, you know, they can't get the divine feminine out of their mind, but it's just like, well, I just don't know, I'm just going to give it up. I don't know, we'll see what happens. I'm surrendered. But yet they've surrendered, but they're still stuck where they are, basically, you know. The divine feminine, it's confirmation, keep on moving on, because I'm also hearing that you're not going to stray so far that you wouldn't be able to make it back to the connection if and when it is meant to be. But you do not, anybody that's still loitering around that crossroads, it's almost like Metatron's going to be coming round like, you know, oi, what you're doing still here, with love and with compassion. Okay, well, I think that's the message then for today. Let's just have two more cards. I can't resist. Let's just have a card, a message from the divine masculine to the divine feminine. So this is a message from the divine masculine to the divine feminine. If they were here now, or they are at higher self level, what would they be saying? A message from the divine masculine to the divine feminine. A message, okay. Free will. Free will, the card of free will. It's a slightly strange message, isn't it? It's not though when you see the next card on the pack. Look at that. This is his message to the divine feminine. Free will and crossroads. He understands that you have the free will and have moved away. Look at this, you've moved away from the crossroads. Because even if something's destined and meant to be, you're still not meant to just wait and wait and wait and just live your life, or not live your life, basically. You've got to live your life. You have the free will. He's saying you can wait there if you want. I don't think that's what he wants you to do. It's almost like an understanding. I know why you've had to move on. One more message from him. One more message from him for the Divine Feminine. Muse. Muse. You give him a lot of inspiration. It's like you're his muse. Somebody that he's fascinated by. Somebody that he can't get out of his head. Somebody that if he was a painter, he'd want to paint all of the intricacies. Sees all aspects of who you are. Sees the little details, all the mannerisms, and loves all of that. Loves the imperfections too, like an artist would. Let's see what the Divine Feminine's message is to him. Pause. Another one, pause. Divine Feminine's message to the Divine Masculine. Victim. I'll explain that, I know what that means. And one more. Divine Feminine's message to Divine Masculine. That one. Forgiveness. I will no longer be a victim in this. I will no longer be the victim. I will no longer be tied up. I will no longer be waiting. I ask your forgiveness, but I can no longer endure with the old paradigm that is just submissive and waits. I don't know what the next step is. I'm going to pause a little bit, take some time on this new path, this new direction. But know that I still love you. Know that I'm still always here for you. But I can no longer be left tied up in knots. My heart tied up. I need to release that. I need to move on. I'm very mindful of us and me. And I love you. Bottom of the pack. Signs. Sort of want to put that in the middle. And next to the card of signs is yes. So it's almost like signs will come when this changes. When Mother Earth and Gaia is ready to hold the vibrations of this twin flame love. Signs will come when the Divine Masculine has fully opened, not just surrendered, but really opened and then moved. And signs will come for me in the material world too. And I'm going to just keep following them for now. Let's end with a message from Mary. There's a huge feeling of support and love. And I'm hearing that the path doesn't have to be lonely for either party. This stage is just another part of the twin flame experience and a part of what you both came to experience. We hope you understand, she says. I think there's an acknowledgement that the way this has all come out, I said to you I wasn't sure what was going to come out today, but it makes sense to me anyway. I hope it makes sense to some of you. You know, it's not the type of reading that necessarily you want to click onto in terms of, yes, definitely, it's all stations go. By January, this has happened, that's happened. It's not as simple as that on the twin flame path. And I hope this has given you some guidance though in terms of where the energy's at. Made on 12/12 with love. Wishing all of you support on your journey. Bye-bye for now. I'll be back probably in the new year and we'll see what's happening then, shall we? Bye-bye for now.